Hello, West Ham Network. It's Holly, and we are going to be playing a little game of Keep, Sell, or Loan Defence Edition this morning. So, without further ado, let's get going. Yes, West Ham Network. So, like I said, it is time to play a little game of keep, sell, or loan with our defence. In our defence, I'm going to be including goalkeepers. And as a disclaimer, selling is also going to include getting rid of people on a free. So basically, it's keep, leave, or loan, but that didn't sound quite as catchy. So we're doing keep, sell, or loan, but sell is going to include the people that are going on a free. We're selling them for nothing. It still counts. Please don't attack me. Now, as a reminder, we can have a squad of 25 in the Premier League, plus any under 21 players. And within the 25 player limit, we can have a maximum of 17 that are not homegrown, and the rest of the squad have to count as homegrown. So that's how that side of things work. We're not going to go too in depth with that. But when you take a look at our players on paper, we appear to have a lot of names that we need to get rid of to reduce our wage bill, get out some of the deadwood, and bring in some new talent. And given recent reports, there are a lot of players open to moving away, and that we're also open to moving away. It is the beginnings of that huge rebuild that we have all been talking about for a very long time, that we've known has needed to come. Sorry, I just realised I got Poe in the background there. Big fan of West Ham Network. So we are finally looking now, realistically, at how players are performing and who we need to get rid of. Obviously, there is a long list of people currently that we need to get rid of, and you'll see some of my reasoning in these. They're not necessarily all staying that are great or all leaving that are not perfect, mainly because I'm trying to be somewhat realistic in terms of how many players we can actually sign in a window and do a good job of it. But I might be wrong. So I want to hear your opinions throughout this. So make sure you use that comment section to tell me where I'm right and where I'm wrong. So yeah, I'm about to run through what I think we will do or should do and why, but comment below with what you think the next season should hold for each of our defensive players. And while there are definitely a lot of players that I would happily part ways with, I have found it quite tough because we've got many quality players that aren't performing right now, which puts a big question mark over whether we should try and cash in for them. And we've got many players that you would hope we can bring more out of, but it's like, do you part ways and bring in other unknowns when these players are still players that we know that we might be able to get ticking? It's very difficult. But yeah, like I said, I'm trying to be realistic. I don't think we need to re-sign 80% of our squad in the summer because it will absolutely destroy us. We've seen what's happened at clubs like Chelsea under Potter when you have too many new players and you just can't find your feet. You don't know what to do. You've got every player wanting to be first choice, and it just causes problems all round. So I don't think we should get rid of 80% of our squad. So you're going to see that my estimations include a little bit of experience trying to stay to develop youngsters, plus a couple of okay players staying, so that we can really focus our recruitment efforts on the areas that we really need to fix desperately. So let's get started. First of all, we're going to talk about goalkeepers. So we've got Fabianski. He's out of contract in the summer, likely to go, and I think it's the right time for him to go. Bring in a youngster as our second choice keeper, ideally, in my opinion. There's a lot of hope for Finn Herrick to come through as potentially number 2 or number 3 keeper. Then we've got Areola. So I wouldn't keep him. In fact, no, do you know what? I would keep him because I think we've got bigger challenges that we need to address before we start messing around too much with keepers. I think this is something that we need to look at next season in terms of who we've got on our books in terms of keepers, but I don't think it's a priority at the moment. Areola is good enough for the time being. He does a job. We know what we can expect with him. We've been linked with a lot of players, one of which is Ramsdale. Having watched him at the weekend, it made me realise that Areola really isn't all that bad. I watched Ramsdale make quite a few mistakes in that game, that if Areola had done that, he would have been crucified on Easter weekend, ironically. So, yeah, I think we need to be careful about who we swap in and out. We've had some really shocking keepers over the years, and Fabianski and Areola have both been somewhat predictable, even if they're not world class. And of course, they've made mistakes at times. I don't think either of them have had absolute howlers week after week after week. They've got criticism in terms of ball distribution, in terms of accuracy of passing, all of that. But of course, they're going to, because every goalkeeper gets criticism. They get very few opportunities to do well. Let's not go too much into that. I shan't bore you with my goalkeeper rant either, but James Trafford is an option that I'm quite excited about from Burnley, but they've just been promoted. Newcastle was said to be favourites. Is that likely? Probably not, to be completely honest. Then Fodringham. So for me, this is one that we keep because I can't see us doing much with him. And I think he's going to just remain an option for us for the coming season. He's 34, so he'd probably go on a free. And I would prefer to see someone like Finn Herrick in the mix in time. But for now, I can't see us mixing things up when it comes to Fodringham. He's a typical third choice goalkeeper. And I think that that's pretty safe. Soufal. So start with the right backs. Soufal, I expect him to go this summer on a free with his contract ending, obviously. He wants first team football. He's clearly been frustrated with the amount of playing time that he's been getting under Potter. He's done a fantastic job for us over the years. He's given us all his all. He's never been afraid to speak his mind. He loves the club. His crosses have helped us to get a lot of goals. I always sit down where my season ticket is, literally the area where he whips the ball in, and he's whipped in some fantastic balls over the years. And I just feel like he's done a great job for us, but now it feels like it's time to part ways. He turns 33 before the start of next season. His lack of pace is sometimes a challenge against fast wingers. And with us trying to build this young, more youthful squad that we can have for seasons to come and grow on, this is one where I just feel like it's the right time to say goodbye. Getting someone in like Kyle Walker-Peters on a free to replace Soufal sounds like the best idea in my opinion. Now, Wan-Bissaka. So keep. It's an absolute no-brainer for me. Wan-Bissaka has been incredible for us. We really missed what he brings down the wing when he didn't play against Southampton. He came with massive question marks over his head, didn't he, to West Ham? And his ability to attack and defend, get forwards, get backwards. And he has proven every single doubter wrong. I actually think he's been he's been our best player this season. He has been our best player this season. So for me, Wan-Bissaka is a no-brainer that we keep him. We make him a massive part of our squad. I think he's amazing. Didn't press the button there, did I? Now we are going to talk about Todibo. For me, Todibo, he's technically on loan with the obligation to buy, and then we've got the rumours that Man United want to come in and buy him from us straight away, which would mean a profit of around 10 million. But for me, he has looked solid. He's 25, so he's got plenty of years ahead of him, and he could be a really important player for us next season. He's one of our best two centre-backs, and we have not been leaking as many goals as we were recently. So selling him would be a risk at a time where we're just trying to stabilise things and we've got more pressing priorities. Would that amount of money be great to reinvest? Absolutely. But if we get this move wrong, we could start conceding crazy amounts of goals because we've ruined our back line, which was starting to kind of take shape or at least be a little bit calmer, as well as struggling to score and needing to fix that problem. That sounds like a recipe for absolute disaster. I just feel like as much as I would love the money from Todibo, my concern is that we need a strong spine of a team. And Todibo is one of the two centre-backs that I would put in a strong team right now. And I don't think we can risk getting rid of him, because if it went wrong and we brought someone in that was... We've seen what's happened before, haven't we? When we've had centre-backs who just let players go and pass the ball to the opposition in goal-scoring positions. We can't have that happen. So the fact that Todibo is not one of those players, and I just feel confident when he's on the ball, for me, I need to keep him. And then Kilman is another one. Keep one of the other two best centre-backs, in my opinion. He plays well with the ball at his feet. And while he's not been faultless, obviously none of them have been faultless, I don't feel worried when he's got the ball at his feet. And I think having ball-playing centre-backs is really, really important. Mavropanos. So he's got to go. Unlike what I've just said about Kilman, I'm actually terrified every time he has the ball at his feet. I had really high hopes for him when he joined, and he was always going to be third choice behind Kilman and Todibo, but he's played quite a lot with Todibo's injury, and you would hope that more game time would allow him to really come out of his shell and show what he can do. Unfortunately, it's just shown up so many issues that he's not of the standard we can't trust him enough to be our third choice. So for me, he has to go, and we need to bring somebody else into that position because, it's game over for Mavropanos for me. Now for Agard. Now I think we should keep Agard as he's the perfect third choice centre-back for what we need. And if we want to play with a three in defence, Kilman, Todibo and Agard would work well. Agard on the left, Todibo on the right, Kilman in the centre. And all three would be good ball-playing centre-backs, which would just give us a little bit more of an ability to push forward, to play out from the back, to do what we want to do, and to hopefully just calm things down from the back and not be hoofing the ball. Agard is currently on loan at Real Sociedad. He was actually playing really well, and everyone was like, oh, my God, we need to get him back. We've got to bring him back to West Ham. And then he played most of the season, but hasn't actually played since the 9th of March. So he was on the bench for the Real Vallecano game, I want to say. But he hasn't been in the squad for the last 4 games at all. That said, he would also, playing devil's advocate, give us the chance to cash in on someone, as we don't have many players who have retained value that we're not currently using or needing. But do I think we need a third centre-back? Yes. So personally, I think we should keep Agard because he has the ability. Again, it's all an unknown. You don't know whether you bring him back to West Ham and he wouldn't perform. But for me, for now, keep him. Who else have we got? Zuma goes on a free. Casey, I'd loan Casey. I think we obviously do rate him, and he needs first team football at this age as well. He's not going to develop by being 4th choice for us. So getting him a good loan where we know that he's going to be getting game time and that he's actually being developed is going to help him to get to that next level. For Skulls, I would say keep. There's definitely an argument for sending him out on loan if we could find a team where he's almost guaranteed to play, like I was saying for Casey, so he could develop more. But Potter clearly likes him, and I think he'll stick with him, particularly if we say goodbye to Cresswell, who we will touch on in a second. But loaning Skulls out would leave us very thin, depending on who we could bring in to replace him. Like I said, we've got so many other positions, which we're going to touch on in the midfield and attack videos, that we need to fill, that I'm a little bit nervous about getting rid of too many other players. So we need to sign so many. So for me, for now, I would say play it safe and keep Skulls. Then up next, we've got Emerson. We're going to keep him. So Emerson played against Southampton, and he's one of our few players that looked eager to attack. He was driving, and I was so happy to see that. Obviously, I wanted to see it more, but he just seemed to have that oomph that we were lacking, and no one else around him really did. He links up well with Paqueta and Guilherme. That makes us a bit more of a threat. Potter's been rotating between him and Skulls, but I think there is still room for Emerson to secure himself as proper first choice. And again, this is one where we could get some money back for him. So if we need money, this could be one that goes. But it would mean that we need to replace him on top of a very long list of players. So for me, he's solid enough to keep, and hope that we can get him back to his previous form. Now, Cresswell. If we could get Cresswell on a 1-year contract with really, really low wages, I'd be tempted to say keep. I know we want a younger squad, but I think that he could play a big part in helping Ollie Skulls with his development. Cresswell is one of the few players that we have that understands what it was like a while back at West Ham, and the mentality that we need. And he played with Nobes, and he knows all about that leadership and the West Ham way, and like just what it means to play for West Ham. And he's going to be turning 36 next season, but he's done enough when he's been called upon. He's done a decent job. Fans were pretty happy when he performed recently as well. And obviously, if he's going to cost loads in terms of wages, no, like I don't want to sign a 36-year-old on a 1-year deal for a fortune, and I'd get rid. But for now, given that he loves the club, he's been with us for so long, if we could get a fair price, given his age and his ability, I would say keep, because I think he's one of those dressing room players that is going to play a huge part in terms of helping the youngsters come through the ranks and helping to really establish that identity, which in recent seasons we have lost, like fully lost. So yeah, those have been our defensive players. I hope I haven't missed anyone. I've been trying to run through everyone in my head. There's so much to say that I'm breaking it down into not 1, not 2, but 3 videos. 1 for defence, 1 for midfield, and 1 for attack. And the midfield one coming up next has a lot of change that needs to happen, in my opinion. Anyway, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, tune in at 5 p.m. where I'm going to be running through your Hammers headlines. As a reminder, these are the players that I said I would keep, leave, or loan out. Obviously, like I said, there's a few caveats, like Cresswell staying does rely on us getting cheap wages, but I think that he could help some of the youngsters to really improve, like Skulls. So yeah, let me know what you think. Drop a comment down below with what you would do differently to what I've just said, because I know we've all got very different opinions. In an ideal world, something I do just want to say, in an ideal world, 80% of these players are gone and I'm bringing in upgrades for all of them. But in a summer transfer window where there's carnage going on, I don't think we can sign 15 players. And I think it would also leave us with a massive challenge the other side of how we bed those players in, how we balance and manage those players, how we find any sort of identity as a team. Obviously, you could argue that at the moment we don't really have that anyway, but I think we would be shocked at if we just pushed all these players together, what would happen and what we'd look like as a squad. So I'm trying to do a bit of a careful plan here in terms of what we can realistically expect to see happening and what we can realistically do in terms of improvement. So that's all from me for now. Thank you so much as always for watching. Like I said, 5 p.m. Hammers Headlines going to be running through the stories from today. Have a great day, whatever you're up to. It's raining outside, but we can't have the sunshine every day. Summer's coming, I hope. Have a great day. Till next time. Come on, you Irons. Irons.